Hi everyone and welcome to our Q&A section here. So we've got a few questions that you guys have asked that we're going to answer in the group. Obviously this group, we've got Laura who's a qualified dietitian. We've got Bowen and Andrew and Erin who are all trainers and lots of experience as well. So sure we'll get some good answers out for you. The first one there is, what are the best foods to eat or avoid going into menopause, as I've been told your diet should change at this time?
Yeah, so I'm assuming I take that one away.
Wow.
Yeah, so I get this question a fair bit with clients, and it's not complicated as they seem to think. It's like we sort of recommend to all clients is eat healthy, so eat whole foods. There's a few things that we sort of tell people to keep away from, but it's really quite individual. So I get people to have keep sort of like a food mood diary when they're eating something, seeing if they're getting exacerbated symptoms afterwards. So three foods that seem to exacerbate things like hot flushes, so caffeine, alcohol, and any spicy foods. So some people can still have those things and not have much of an issue, but there are three things that have been highlighted that can be problematic at this time. And definitely if there's a big focus on increasing your calcium intake when women are hitting menopause. So obviously there's a fluctuation of different hormones in the body. That's the simplest way to sort of put it. And we can leach calcium from our bones, which can lead to osteoporosis. Hence, we're at a higher risk when we get older for osteoporosis. So that's why it's more important and detrimental that as women get older and hit menopause, that we increase their calcium intake. And along with that, to help with absorption, we increase vitamin D. So vitamin D with calcium can help the absorption of that as well.
So more like better nutrition and nutrient-based foods rather than so much of changing anything else in the diet.
Yeah, cutting out the crap.
Yeah.
Like we pretty much say to everyone anyway, but eating whole foods. And I think a lot of women through this stage, it's known, we lay down fat cells. The hormones do that. It's a natural response. And it's, you hear as we get older and we can get osteoporosis and things like that, our body actually protects itself by laying down fat cells, often around the midsection. So say if someone, an older woman had a fall, that fat is there to protect their hips and protect those organs. So it's actually our body is protecting ourselves by laying down those fat cells. But a lot of women these days, they put on the weight, they want to lose it, and they look at bad diets. But that can be even more detrimental because our hormones are changing. If we're having a low calorie diet or an extremely low carb diet, that can affect your energy levels, your hormone levels again. And it's just important to eat whole foods, eat within your, your calorie range, whatever that may be, because it also, not everyone has a fixed amount of calories they can take. We've talked about that before. Whatever your activity level is and everything like that. We don't want to eat too little because we still need that energy to do all the processes that we need to do. We don't want to slow down that metabolism too much.
Yeah, so that's a good point. A lot of people, when they're trying to lose weight or keep fat off, they think I'll eat less and I'll sort of avoid carb and all this other stuff and not really think about the nutrients. And then it creates a bit of a spiral effect where they just feel worse. Doesn't help hormones, doesn't help, good nutrition around it. So that's a good point. I mean, look, that's obviously Laura's a fully qualified dietitian as well. So, that should answer the menopause questions for anyone out there. Is there anything you want to add to that, Laura, or yeah, all good?
I just want to keep it simple. I could talk about this for ages about all the processes that the body can go through, but really keep it simple. If you're getting, if you're getting intolerant to something, reduce it, slowly add it back in, sort of see how your body's responding to it at the time, up your calcium intake, your vitamin D to go along with that, and avoid the things that are causing problems. If alcohol, caffeine, or spicy foods are causing problems, reduce them or cut them out.
Get rid of them. Yeah, exactly.
I think another thing to add to that is, like Laura said, it's a lot of trial and error between a lot of people. I've got a couple clients and a couple family members that are, in the menopause side of things at the moment. And for some of them, caffeine's a real major factor, whereas other people, it's a lot of spicy food and things along those lines, which bring on those hot flushes. So as Laura touched on before, sort of bit of trial and error, cut those things out, start to reintroduce those things as you go along. And with the calcium side of things and the bone density side of things, it's sort of not the diet side, but strength training. Increasing your strength training is a really good thing for ladies within menopause. A lot of ladies are sort of scared of touching the weights at certain points, or if they haven't done a lot of weight training in the past, but it's really good for people and people older in life, no matter what, but especially ladies as they're sort of starting to get into menopause with the bone density and all that sort of thing. And another thing is, like, if they're really worried about it, herbalists and naturopaths are also a pretty good thing to sort of go down that way if necessary. But like Laura said, cut out those things that may be factors like the caffeine, the alcohol, the spicy food. And if you're still having dramas from there, sort of seek some extra help from there.
Yeah, for sure. You get the nutrition and consistent training right, then whatever problems are actually jumping up, you can go and see a specialist, have a look at them or whatever. But get those two things right first, you should be pretty good. So question number 2. So tips and advice on how to stay on track with nutrition with everything happening. All I've seen to be doing lately is reaching for comfort food and chocolate.
So I was going to do actually a little video about this anyway, about that mindless snacking. I think it's something everyone can get really stuck doing, especially if you're trying to lose weight, or if you are someone that does just eat without thinking about it sort of thing. We all get stuck with it, especially if we're trying to lose weight and that sort of thing too. So it's all just about finding ways to build those habits to make it easy for yourself. I think the best one, and obviously this is a no-brainer, but don't buy it. Don't take it home and keep it in the house. If you buy unhealthy snacks and that sort of stuff, either you or someone you love that you live with is going to eat it, So if you're worried about that sort of stuff, try and be disciplined when you go shopping. So don't go shopping hungry. Don't buy a bunch of snacks and just get what you need, If you do buy it, put it away. Don't leave it on a coffee table or on the bench, anything like that, all those sort of things and that sort of stuff too. And then, there's heaps of things you can do, keeping yourself busy so you're not thinking about it. You're going to eat when you're bored just because it's an easy thing to do, something to keep yourself satiated, all kinds of stuff. Big glass of water, then wait 20 minutes before you snack. That's a good one. Make sure you drink a bunch of water and then see if you're still really hungry in 20 minutes time, then maybe let yourself have that snack, And then, some people can moderate their portions, but, a lot of people just need to say, no, I can't have that sort of thing. Some people can moderate it through the week and it's going to stop them binging on the weekend. Otherwise, some people just need to be like, that's a food I want to stay away from for a while I'm trying to lose weight, or they can have it like a little bit on the weekend if they go out. And then there's all other kinds of little things you can do. If you're snacking on the way to work or something like that, you're stopping at a servo. Don't take your card with you, all those sort of things. Don't take your money if you don't want to buy it or something like that. Or just, the other thing is, like, if you're at home and you eat a lot of desserts of a nighttime and that sort of stuff too. One I used to do a lot of was like brush your teeth after dinner. That way you're not going to want to snack, and that just all little things that you can think about building habits to stack on top of each other. That's going to sort of prevent you from doing it as much. You're always going to snack sometimes, but, that's the big one. The other thing I got told when I was very young, it wasn't always the best advice, but I got told being hungry won't kill you as well. You think about that and maybe just, try and put up with being hungry for a little longer if you're trying to lose weight and that sort of stuff. And because if you're trying to lose weight, you are trying to eat less food than you need to live. So you burn fat as a fuel source instead, right? So it's all just little things. Figure out things that work for you, but you just got to think about ways it's going to adjust your mindset so you're not really snacking as much, or limiting it at the very least, sort of thing.
Yeah, you got to look at like strategic eating, I think. Like when you're at home and you're bored and whatever, you tend to just eat whatever's in front of you. And if you stop and think, like, am I actually hungry? Am I seeing this because I'm bored? You'll probably be able to go, well, I'm eating because I'm bored and not worry about that sort of thing. But it's not going to matter if you have a day or two like that every now and again. It's really not going to matter. But it's that when it turns those everyday sort of things. I can relate to this because obviously with this whole lockdown thing, I've had pregnant missus at home as well. There's been just lots of different foods in the house all the time, and always things happening, and there's nothing else to do. So it's very easy just to eat, sit there and eat and watch Netflix and that all day. But you feel it very quickly after a week or two of doing it. You sort of think, oh, this is not good. Need to really slam the brakes on this and just sort of get more strategic. I think the other thing to do is book in some exercise every day with yourself. So that way at least you've got a bit of a routine and you can sort of start to plan, meals and things around your training and everything else. And that way you sort of, I think when you train, a lot of the time you can suppress appetite a bit too when you train, especially on cardio stuff and that sort of thing. Sometimes it'll sort of, you won't feel like eating as much straight after you train and that sort of thing. That can help. But yeah, I think the temptation, don't buy it. Like if you're going shopping and, don't buy all the bad stuff and have it in the cupboard because you probably will cave to it eventually. And that's the same for everyone, I think.
And I get that a lot. And I have this discussion with a lot of my clients, and something that they come back with a lot. They're like, why do you have that in the house to start with? Oh, because my hubby likes it, or my kids have it for school lunches. And I'm like, but it's shit. Why do you have it in the house anyway? Like, your child doesn't need that. You're the one doing the shopping. That's in your control whether you buy it or not. And if you know it's not good for you, why do you want someone that you love having it? Like,
who's it good for?
Have your treats, but often people, when they're snacking and they're eating mindlessly, it's because they want that sugar or that salt fix. It's not, if that changed and they're like, all right, there's carrot sticks and hummus, or, like something healthy, they're like, oh yeah, I don't really actually feel like that. It's like, because you're not actually hungry. You don't want something nutritious. You just want that whole hand to mouth. Like, it's a craving. It's not something that your body's actually needing.
Yeah,
and
just habit stuff.
Yeah, and the great bat routine. That's something that I do when I'm at home, because, I studied at home a lot through uni. I was going to uni for 5 years. I spent a lot of time at home at uni studying, and it's so easy to, okay, that lecture's finished. You walk out, check the fridge, you go do another lecture, walk back out. You're like, well, no, the fridge hasn't changed. Why am I walking out here again? Like, it just became a habit. So, like, for me, when I'm working at home, and I'm sure there are a lot of people currently working at home in the same situation, have designated time slots like you would at work. So you take your lunch and your snacks to work, and that's all you have for the day. Even set it up the exact same way, put it in the fridge, even put it in your lunchbox. That's the food that you're allowed to have for the day. You finish that food at like lunchtime, you've had all your snacks, your morning tea and afternoon tea, tough cookies. You don't eat until that afternoon. Like, that's the food that you'd eat throughout the day. Why? And it sustained you before. Why wouldn't it sustain you now? So even if you are still trying to keep that routine, even if you are at home, and again, getting rid of that temptation, your kids are going to survive without the crap food, the crap snacks. Like, choose something healthier for them, for the whole family, and trying to reduce that processed stuff. That's going to reduce your temptations and cut the calories.
I think swapping's a big one for sure. I think swapping, something unhealthy to something healthy is a huge one. But I like that idea, Andrew, too, with you, like, I call it flexing your mental, your discipline muscles. So, like, a lot of the time when you've got a bad habit, you can almost make a game and get satisfaction out of going the opposite way. And you'll see when you've been eating really poorly for a couple of weeks and you start eating really healthy, you feel really good. And you actually get more out of eating healthy and start feeling more, I guess you get more reward out of it than you do out of eating the crap food.
Well, so one thing I know I do, and I've done this pretty much, since I was a teenager, I've been interested in nutrition all the time, is people offer me, like, junk food when you're out and about, and I'm not interested in it. And I've always been in this mindset. I'm like, well, how is that benefiting me? Like, what nutritional value does that have to me? And I don't get as much satisfaction out of a meal if I know that it's not healthy for me.
Yeah.
And that's just a mindset thing. And if that's something that people need to work on, but there's a lot of people that don't even think about that.
Yeah.
And especially with training too. It's another added bonus going, okay, like, I just trained for an hour. What foods am I going to eat to sustain my goals? Like, I don't want to take a step back.
I think a lot of people get caught up in that mindset of, oh, I've just smashed out a half-hour Zoom boot camp. Yeah, I've earned my Mars bar, or I've earned my Snickers, or something along those lines. And I think that's the mindset people need to sort of start to change. Exactly like Laura said, is, okay, I've just smashed out a half-hour Zoom, or I've done an hour session, I've done a PT, whatever it may be. I've done something to push me towards my goal. Now what else can I do to push myself towards my goal? Okay, rather than going, I'm going to reward myself with a Snickers or a Mars bar or a chocolate milkshake or something like that. Okay, reward your body, fuel your body with something good. And I think a lot of us trainers here use the mentality is, your body is a Ferrari, okay? It's $1 million sports car. You're not going to fill it with crap fuel. You're not going to put E10 in a Ferrari, are you? Okay, no one's going to. You're going to get the best fuel you can. You're not going to worry about what you're spending on fuel because you've just bought $1 million sports car. The price of fuel isn't going to worry you. I think that's the biggest thing people need to get in that mindset of with the diet side of things is, don't reward yourself with crap food. Use the good, nutritious food to help you push towards your goal more. And do your best to sort of have that bit of a mindset. And even if I know Laura's told a few of even my clients in dietetics consults and things like that to go have a mood diary in terms of your food side of things. Okay, if you've just eaten something, write down how that's made you feel. Okay, if you've done a session, you've just had a Snickers bar, how'd that make you feel? Or you've just done a session, you've just had 2 carrots and some hummus, how did that make you feel? They're going to make you feel completely different, and it's going to help you with your mindset as to I want to push forward towards my goals, or rather than I'm rewarding myself for something that I just did and undoing what you've just done.
I think feeling on track with your process is a better feeling than anything tastes too. So trying to think of it that way as well is a big one. And I've been doing a lot of that myself too with what Laura was saying is set your food aside for the day. Either set it aside in the fridge or the pantry, write it all down or log it at the start of the day and be like, that's what I'm having. A few days of that, you're feeling on track, you're feeling good, you'll stick to it for longer. A few days of discipline, a week or so, that feeling of being on track is much better than, most things taste.
Yeah. It becomes like a new habit as well, right? You break that bad habit, you can start creating some good habits, and that becomes a new trend and the new habit that you're implementing every day, which then changes everything long term. So it's good. We'll go question 3 now. So, what are some small exercises we can do on top of the workouts while we're stuck at home? My step count has gone from 13,000 to around 6,000, and I'm feeling it. Crab walks on my 300 trips to the fridge. So there's some suggestions that she made. She crab walks while she goes to the fridge. Also exercises we can include the kids in. So first of all, with the kids part of it, the kids can pretty much do any exercise you're doing. Unless you're doing like really heavy weight training and technical lifts and things, they can do all the other stuff. Any of the home workout stuff you're doing, the kids should be fine to do that. So they can jump in any of that stuff. You don't really need specific kids classes around the other classes and stuff. It's not going to help that much. Just get them doing what you're doing. So get them involved with you. Just getting active is a big part for the kids. But in terms of the smaller exercises we can do on top of the workouts while we're stuck at home, any ideas?
I think incidental exercise is a massive one. I know I'm seeing a lot of it. Laura and I have gone for a few walks around Newcastle and things like that recently because it's close to where we live, and the amount of people that are out doing family exercise and all that sort of stuff, you would have seen as you live near us as well, the amount of people down the local park and stuff like that. I think incidental exercise is a massive one. Okay. Getting out, going for a walk with the family, going for a bike ride, something along those lines. Okay. Yeah. You can't go play on the playground like you would normally, but finding a place where you can go for a walk, go for a bike ride, do something as a family is a massive thing. It's, even if it's out in the backyard, if you don't want to leave your house and you want to stay in the backyard and you want to play on the trampoline, you want to anything along those lines, doing that incidental exercise, doing that family time, getting the kids involved, I think is a massive thing. One, it's incidental, so you don't even really feel like you're doing exercise as much. You're actually just spending time with your family, enjoying what's around, enjoying time in the backyard, playing with the kids. The kids are having fun. They're doing exercise without even realizing it. If they're playing around, playing games in the backyard, you're kicking a footy, you're kicking a soccer ball around, jumping around on the trampoline, doing backflips, all that sort of stuff. Or even if you're just going for a walk, pick a nice area where you're going for a walk. You won't realize how far you actually walk if you have a nice scenery, because you'll be looking at things around, whatever it may be. I think the incidental thing I find myself works really well if, adding that on top of the extra, the workouts that I'm doing as is.
Yeah, and looking at that step count, like they said, it's dropped and that sort of thing too. It's definitely going to drop when you're stuck in isolation too. But yeah, use that time. You're allowed to go out once a day for a walk or something like that, like Bowen was saying too. The other things you can do is get stuck into your housework. I've got my step count up by making sure I'm doing housework every day and that sort of stuff too. So all those sorts of things. If you want to do exercises at home too, if you've got a good intense workout a day, if you're doing your PT or your Zooms or your online boot camps or whatever it is like that, that's fine too. Maybe spend some time doing some stretching and mobility. No one ever does enough of that, like that'll have you feeling good as well. So if you're trying to lose weight too, if you're worried about your activity level going down, remember, if you're putting on weight, usually a lot of it's to do with consuming too many calories too compared to how much you move. So if you're not moving as much and you can't increase that, reduce the amount of food you're eating as well, and you're not going to put that much weight on as well. That's basically how that science works. So, if you can't find ways to improve your activity and you're worried about putting on weight, try not to eat as much. depends where you are with how much weight you've got on too. If you're at a serious health risk, you want to be eating less anyway. But if you've only got a couple of kilos to lose, or if you're at a healthy weight level, no one's going to blame you for putting on that kilo at the moment, or just a little bit of extra fat. Like I said, it depends on your goals.
Yeah, I think there's a few things when you look at like this lockdown, this isolation, all this sort of stuff. I think we'd all agree that there's a lot of people that are very well rested. So they're not doing much. They're lying around a lot more. They're not going to work. They're not doing as much physical stuff. So I think what happens is one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden, like when you're used to this hectic schedule and everything stops, and over a couple of weeks, you just get used to doing nothing all the time. And that's why I say you sort of schedule in your workouts. Like maybe every morning, you and the family go for a big walk or something, and you get outdoors for a bit. Okay, that might be 40 minutes. Then you come back in. Then maybe that every afternoon at 4 p.m. you do a home workout or something together. That way you're still training twice a day. But that's not going to kill you because you've got so much rest in between as well. So, it's you don't have to worry about like overdoing it too much at the moment, I don't think. So schedule, even at least 1 or 2 workouts a day. Watch your calorie intake. Do things that take your mind off and get you busier. You can, do squats every time you go to the fridge or whatever, but I don't think that's really going to matter that much, to be honest. I just look at doing sort of blocks of exercise and keeping your mind and yourself active, and whether that's doing, mowing the lawn or doing more washing or cleaning the house more or doing some DIY projects or just literally going for a walk for the sake of it, just to get you and your family out of the house and feel better, or you're walking your dog twice a day instead of once and things like that, and so be it for now. And if you're watching your diet while you're doing all that extra stuff, it'll pay off big time.
I think mixing it up between like doing a Zoom and doing a workout and getting outside would be really important too. Yeah. I know how I feel better when we've gone outside for a bike ride or a walk, or we've gone to the baths to do some laps. I feel so much better getting outside than just being stuck inside doing a workout. Like some of us have been, mix it up. You do a workout on Zoom in the morning, go for a walk of an afternoon, vice versa. I think it's really important that we are still going outside, getting some sunlight, getting some fresh air and moving outside.
Yeah, and a lot of people have sort of mentioned, why is the Zoom, like the home workout's half an hour, but we usually do an hour in boot camp. And I'm like, the whole point of them is they're meant to be shorter and sharper. So when you do them, really have a go at them. Like, don't go really slow at 30% or 50% of what you can do. Have a real dig. Go 70, 80, 90%. Like, go hard on each round and really treat that, 20 minutes, half an hour. Treat it like it's high intensity. Like, get your heart rate up, get yourself sweating, get yourself right into it. And then that way, if you do that and then you just go for a walk later in the day and it's nice and easy, so be it. But they're both going to help you. They're both going to burn calories and get you out of the house. But if you're doing those Zoom workouts and you're not really feeling it, I'd say you probably just your intensity's not there. And
we're feeling it.
Yeah, like honestly, if you're doing squat jumps for 40 seconds and you're bludgeoning them or you're going nice and hard and getting them out, there's a huge difference in that over the half hour. And I'd say a lot of people probably, if you're doing 50, 60%, you need to aim 80, 90%. And if you do that, you'll really feel that workout.
Yeah. I think people do this a lot no matter what. I think there's a lot of confliction between quality over quantity. And even before COVID and things like that, you would see people come in, they do, 4 boot camps over the course of the day. And you're like, you've just put, 35% in over the course of 4 hours. You'd be better off coming in, doing 1 boot camp, doing 90, 95%. It's quality over quantity. And I think that's where people sort of get a little bit caught up, and it's completely understandable. People like, I want to lose weight, I want to get fit, I want to tone up, I need to do more. Not necessary. A lot of the time it's quality over quantity. So
work smarter.
Exactly. Work smarter, not harder. Like we're saying with a Zoom boot camp, like that half-hour session I did this morning flogged me way more than my 70-kilometer bike ride on the weekend. That took me 3 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. But yeah, but that's the thing is
like high intensity, right? It's not comfortable.
No, not at all.
It's not nice when you're doing squat jumps and your legs are burning and you're out of breath and all that. That's what you want to be. You don't want to be just doing a squat jump every 10 seconds because that's what's comfortable and manageable and all the rest. Like the whole point of these exercises is go nice and hard, get yourself out of breath, get yourself really feeling it.
If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah. You can do hours a day, right? You can train 5 hours a day when it's easy. Like if I said just walk on the treadmill or go for a nice slow walk, You can walk for 24 hours. Like, it wouldn't be hard, right? Yeah, you burn calories up, but you could do a half hour or 40-minute hit or just go for a run for 40 minutes and you'll be like, God, I'm cooked. And it's like, why can you do one thing for 5? Like you said then, you went for a bike ride for 3 hours.
Yep.
And that probably wasn't as hard as the half hour to 40 minutes of solid, high-intensity work you did, right? And that's the way it should be. Otherwise, you'd be cycling a million miles an hour for 3 hours, which wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, well, the word you said there was intensity. Really, that's really what it comes down to. Because if you're doing something that you're used to and you're comfortable to, your body's not going to adapt to that work. So you're not going to have any fitness gains or anything from it, really. So intensity is definitely the key. And some people think too, if I'm going too hard at the start, I might be too tired at the end. But the intensity is different to how fast you go. So you can be going 100 miles an hour at the start. You could be doing 20 jump squats in 20 seconds, but at the back end of the workout, you might be too tired and you're only doing like 10 squat jumps in that same round. But that doesn't mean your intensity is not still up there. If you're still trying really hard, but your body's slowed right down because you're breathing heavy, your heart's pumping, it doesn't mean the intensity is not there. You're just going a bit slower. That's what you got to think about. You're not trying to pace yourself to survive the workout. You're going as hard as you can and doing as much as you can for that whole time too. And then same with your incidental stuff, it doesn't have to be fancy. You just walk around the block, you're going to feel better from it too, that sort of stuff, even if it's only quick.
I think too, the bit like when you're used to higher intensity training and you're doing it often and that sort of thing, you're pushing yourself, that'll become the new way you train.
Yep.
And every time you step foot and you're doing those exercises, you'll expect yourself to go a lot harder and do a lot more. And that would become the way you do it then. Instead of it being like, right now you might be used to pacing out every round and, doing an hour and a half or 2 hours, but you shorten it down and you go harder, you get used to doing everything harder. That would become the way you attack things from there. So,
and I think as well, like it's a lot of body weight movements with our Zoom boot camps, and a lot of people don't actually realize how hard it is to move your own body weight. Whether you're overweight, whether you're underweight, whether you're a healthy weight, moving your body weight, it's completely different to moving dumbbells, to moving on a cardio machine, anything like that is completely different. So, biomechanically, it's different in terms of where the weight and the resistance is. It's not fixed in your hand as a dumbbell, it's your whole body. So that's the thing, is a very different intensity as well. It's an intensity a lot of us aren't used to doing because we train in the gym a lot of the time. That's why we go to the gym. We like using dumbbells. We like using cardio machines. We like coming to a boot camp and having a massive variety of all this equipment that we can use. And I think that's another thing people sort of get a little bit stuck on is, I'm only using my body weight. Like I don't have dumbbells in my hand, and that's the thing. You think, for me, like I'm almost 90 kilos and it's like, okay, doing push-ups for a minute at 90 kilos isn't easy. Pressing a bar that weighs 90 kilos above me, I can't do that. Okay. Well, I haven't done it for a long time because I haven't given it a go, but that's the thing, is it's a very different dynamic to what you're used to. So I think that's another thing as well, is not discrediting body weight movements. A lot of people do discredit body weight movements, go, dumbbells or barbells or cardio machines are better. But I think, giving it a go and giving those body weight movements a go, you'll see actually how hard they are. And, I know a lot of us have been feeling pretty tender after the Zoom boot camps and things like that. And, I know Erin and Laura have both smashed me this week. And you look at the workout on paper and you go, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And you're halfway through it going, oh my God, when is this over? Like, this hurts. And I think that's the thing, is don't discredit the body weight stuff, push that intensity higher, expect more from yourself as well. Like Andrew said, if you're used to pacing yourself out, going, 10 squat jumps in a 20-second round, see if you can beat it. Okay. See if you can push for 20. And then as you go through, if you drop off because you've started off a little bit more intense, so be it. Okay. You're better off to drop back as you go along than try and ramp up the intensity towards the end, I feel.
Yeah, I think people get a bit silly about the way they think of it. They're like, oh yeah, the body weight squatting is not the same as squatting with your bar on your back and stuff. I'm like, yeah, 100%. But you squat with the bar on your back, we do 10 reps. If you're doing those body weight squats, you might be doing 100 reps. So it's going to have a different effect on the muscle. But you can't really say one's better than the other. And that's what muscles respond to, is that shock. So sometimes the way you've been training for years, it's good to go the opposite way and go, okay, well, I'm going to use a lot less load in terms of weight, and I'm going to do a lot more reps for a while. And that shock on your body is going to actually be really good for you for a couple of months at least anyway. So it's worth changing it up.
Stepping out of your comfort zone as well for that. Just quickly, another one with the kids, like doing activity with kids. You can even set up things like obstacle courses at home. I've seen a lot of parents do that and actually like set up a good obstacle course at home, like where you can actually jump and do different things. There's also a kids app that you can download called Go Noodle, and there's actually like dancing and heaps of active things that are like you can do with kids, but like for them as well, where they have a little bit more, like they just have fun with it too, with music and things like that.
Kids love doing what you're doing, and they'll do whatever the hell you tell them to do. Like, you can literally, like I was playing a game the other day, we were just running around, and I was just like crouching down, hiding, pretend there's a monster, then run somewhere else and crouch down. We played for like an hour and a half, and she didn't want to stop, and she's there sweating and out of breath, and she's like, oh, monster, because like it was a stupid game, like it was all made up, it was just us running around the backyard, hiding in different spots, pretending there's a monster there for an hour and a half, and I was bugging. And, but that for her was fun because they have good imagination, kids. So they'll do whatever you want to do, like you can run up and down your driveway with them for half an hour playing some silly game and they'll think it's amazing. So they're usually not the problem, I find. It's more the adults who are like overthinking everything all the time.
Half the time they just want you there with them. They like the attention. They like that you're being involved with them.
Yeah, 100%. And you want a good workout, pick them up and squat press and stuff like that. They'll think it's great fun and it'll completely kill you. So, there's really ways to train with kids.
I think with all these things that we've gone over, with like the diet side of things, with the training side of things, it comes back to that age-old saying when you're getting kids involved, monkey see, monkey do. Okay, if your kids see you doing exercise, if your kids see you, walking to the fridge every 5 minutes and checking the fridge, that's a habit that they're going to create, either or. Okay, so that's the thing. If you're playing around with them, doing exercise, they get involved. You put on the app, which Aaron just spoke about, and do dance classes with them and all that sort of stuff. That's going to be exercise for you. That's going to get them involved. They're going to see you doing that. That's going to help them create good habits. If they see that, oh, okay, mum and dad are eating carrots and hummus versus, going to the fridge every 5 minutes and getting a fun-size Snickers, kids are going to pick up on that. I think kids pick up on a lot more than a lot of parents realizing. I'm not a parent myself, but I know a lot of my healthy habits are created from what my parents did. And, they weren't the healthiest when we were younger, but they're still, relatively healthy. But it's one of those things you definitely pick up on what your parents are doing. And if you're wanting to get your kids involved, doing things that they're going to enjoy, they're going to copy you, play around, pretend there's monsters, all that sort of stuff. And then same thing with the food side of things. If you're creating those good habits, that's going to help your kids create those good habits as well.
I'll tell you what's hard. Try not getting them to join in. Like every time I'm on the ground stretching or abs or doing something physical, straight away they're over there copying me, trying to do it because they think it's funny or it's fun, or they want to do exactly what you're doing. Like I'll stand there in my lounge room stretching, and my daughter will be chucking her leg up on the couch or trying to stretch her hammy because that's what she sees me doing. And they just want to do it because they think it's something different and something fun and interesting for them. So it's really not hard to include them at all. But, don't stress about what they're doing. You're not going to break them. I mean, unless they're doing really heavy weights and things, which I don't think a lot of people are doing at the moment anyway, you'll be fine. So the last question here, we sort of covered a little bit of it. Is 1 times 30-minute workout 4 or 5 times a week enough, or should I be doing more? So pretty much training half an hour a day, 4 or 5 days a week. Is it enough, or should I be doing more?
Intensity.
Yeah, I think intensity and consistency. They're your 2 biggest words with this side of things. If you're training half an hour a day and it's an intense half hour a day, awesome. If you're training consistently 4 or 5 times a week, awesome. That's good as well. You've got to look at those 2 things. If you're consistently training and your intensity is high enough, half hour is going to be plenty if you're doing that 4 or 5 times a week. But that's the thing. Like we said before, if you're getting outside, playing with the kids, going for walks, getting yourself just outside in general, getting a bit of sunlight, all that sort of thing, that's going to be better off. And, rather than trying to train, looking at doing 6 Zoom recorded sessions or whatever within one day and then not training for the rest of the week. I think consistency, intensity is going to be your biggest thing from there.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've heard scientifically, I think it's after you've done about 40 minutes, a lot of your body doesn't tend to function as well and things. So training much more than 40 minutes at one time doesn't tend to do a lot for a lot of people, apparently. And I think everyone's a bit different the way they feel about it. But I think if you're doing what they call sort of steady state type training, where you're just going for a basic walk or, something slow and easy, you can do it for hours because it doesn't really smash your body that quickly. But if you're doing good high intensity stuff and you're doing a good 30 minutes high intensity 4 or 5 times a week, I think that's definitely enough. And you got to look at it too, whether it's just for the health benefits. Like if you're talking just to get good health benefits and stay decently fit and strong and all the rest, it's actually, no problem at all. But someone's trying to lose weight and they're going to do more exercise and burn more calories, that's probably going to help a lot of the time as well. So, but I think in terms of general health, fitness, strength, half an hour a day is great, especially 4 or 5 times a week and nice and high intensity. You'll get what you want out of it. Sure. Anything you guys want to add to that? Yeah.
I think it comes back to what people's lifestyles are like at the moment too. I think a lot of people are comparing it to, all this pre-COVID, pre-lockdown side of things where, you would go to work at 7 a.m., you'd finish at 3 p.m., you'd drive here, you do a boot camp at 4 or vice versa, whatever it may be. There was a lot of different structure back then. A lot of people still have that structure. If they're an essential worker, their shifts haven't changed or whatever it may be, that's completely fine. Their structure may not have changed, but in saying that, I think everyone's changed, even if they are working the same amount of hours, we're all got this sort of underlying stress and everything like that, no matter what. It's a pretty crazy time in the world at the moment. A lot of people still relatively stressed out, even if they're not directly affected. I think we're all very indirectly affected by this side of things. So I think, for the health benefits side of things, definitely smash out that half-hour session a day, but then do something that's going to help you mentally, okay? I think, a lot of us use that hour when you come into a boot camp, previously as 1, a physical thing and 2, a mental thing. I think now the best thing to do is smash yourself a half hour a day or a couple times a week as a physical thing, but then look at other things you can do as the mental side of things. It's a pretty crazy time. It's a stressful time. We want to do our best to reduce that stress. So that's another thing as well. If you're aiming to increase the amount of high intensity exercise you're doing, that's adding extra stress onto your body as well. Half an hour a day, you'll be fine. It's not going to add too much extra stress on your body at all. It's going to be really good for you. But if you're trying to train 2-3 hours a day at a high intensity level, it's too much. I think you're best off going, quality over quantity, and then look at doing something that's going to help you mentally, de-stress yourself. Go for the walk outside, go play with the kids, all that sort of stuff. All that stuff we keep coming back to. If you're in lockdown inside, play around, play games, color in, anything, yoga, whatever it may be, stretch. Like Andrew said, not enough people don't put enough emphasis on stretching and mobility and all that sort of stuff. And you feel $1 million after doing a half-hour stretch session. So I think that's another thing as well.
Yeah. I think too, like when you're asking yourself, is it enough? I think maybe that's not the best question to be asking. Maybe once you've done your 30-minute session, maybe you should be thinking, could I have gone harder? Did I have some stuff left in the tank at the end of that session, And that's probably more important, because the other thing you need to make sure you're doing too is you need to make sure you're getting enough adequate rest and sleep and that sort of stuff too. So you're making sure that intensity is the key factor of your workout, right? So making sure that you're getting enough rest is important, because it's going to make sure that your next workout is as intense as possible and you're getting the most out of it. So maybe asking if you should be doing more, maybe you should be asking if you could add more intensity to that 30-minute session, and then make sure you're feeling good from it, not feeling exhausted like you can't move for the rest of the day or you can't train for the next 2 days. You just need to make sure it's a quality session and you're causing your body to adapt to, more lung capacity, stronger muscles, whatever you're training at the time, whether it's weights or cardio. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to cause your body to adapt to more fitness levels, like more strength, more lung capacity, all that sort of stuff.
I find it weird too that people sort of getting caught up on the half-hour thing, because that's what the sessions are going for when they're live. But I'm like, you've got a whole library of hundreds of workouts that are all half an hour long. So really, you could do 10 of them a day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You just go and look at a different one. So if you find that half an hour really isn't enough and you're head fit, you're smashing yourself, then cool, do another one. Do an hour. Do 2 hours. It doesn't really matter, right? Like if you feel like you do, half an hour and you think, I went really hard, but I still can do more. Do half an hour and then go for a run after. Do half an hour and then go for a walk, or do 2 of them back to back. It's not rocket science that way. Everyone's a little bit different. Some people can take more than others, or were naturally a lot fitter than others before we even went into lockdowns and things. So everyone's at different levels. But in terms of, will you get a good benefit out of it? Definitely. Half an hour a day is fine. But up the intensity shorter, you're going to go longer. You won't be as intense, but if you need to do more, you can always do more. There's nothing stopping.
Yeah, what I said was on the pretense that you're training, a good 4 times a week or something like that, based off the question that was asked. Not, you need to make sure you're doing enough and it's consistent more than, whether you should be doing more each and every single day. Make sure it's quality.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why the quality is the first thing, and then quantity will follow depending on what you want to do and how far you want to go with it all. I think that's about it. You guys, anything else you want to add, or we're all good?
No, good.
Cool, all good. Thanks for your time today. I hope this answers all your questions, everyone. We'll post these in the Facebook group and on the members site soon. So all good, and we'll see you soon.